When our brain is not right, we're not right. When our brain is troubled, we have trouble in our life. Our brain is in a war for its own health. Those are 3 quotes that I took away from a speech that I listened to live with Dr. Amen earlier this year. If your brain's not right, you're not right. That statement has stuck with me since I listened to him back in March of this year, and it's the absolute truth. Science is showing us that stress, especially chronic stress, can actually change the physiology of our brain. It can literally change the functioning of our brain and everything related to our brain. So if we define stress is any kind of brain response to any stressor or demand or anything that's coming at the brain or coming into our brain. Stress is our brain's response to that. Now, this can be good stress, this can be bad stress, this can be temporary, short term, or it can be chronic. What we're worried about is the chronic stress, because chronic stress is what causes so many changes throughout our body related to hormones. Chronic stress affects our brain. It specifically affects the functioning within our brain cells and the connection between our brain cells. Chronic stress causes impaired cognitive function, which means it inhibits our brain's ability to function at its best. Chronic stress also causes a chronic release of cortisol. We all know cortisol is the stress hormone. That's the label that it's been given, and it's literally a hormone. But when we chronically have high levels of stress hormone, cortisol, within our body, our brain's ability to function at its best is drastically inhibited. Studies are showing us that chronic stress actually kills brain cells. Chronic stress actually kills brain cells. That is unbelievable. Okay? Absolutely unbelievable. When I read that and I thought, no, that can't be. Chronic stress can't do that. We're all under chronic stress. What's happening to all of our brain cells? And I thought to myself, okay, so yes, we really are at war for the health of our brain. So chronic stress actually disrupts the synapse connections within our brain. So it disrupts the communication system within our brain. Chronic stress actually reduces the size, the physical size of our brain. And also, chronic stress affects the prefrontal cortex. That's the part that's responsible for memory and learning. So when we're under chronic stress with chronic levels of cortisol and all of those things, different types of hormones floating around our body, our memory and learning capabilities are impaired just because of the chronic stress and the effects that actually has physically on our brain and through the electrical connections happening within our brain. All of these reasons and all of these things that I've been learning about are exactly why I have been so focused on different habits and different strategies to help decrease stress. Because like I said earlier, we are all under so much stress and pressure just with normal everyday life. And then when you add jobs and family and everything going on with everyone we're responsible for, stress can be unbelievably impactful in our lives. It can cause so many different changes within our emotional health, our physical health. It affects everything. And when I say it affects our brain, I think that is the most important effect that we need to be worried about when it comes to chronic stress. The effect of our brain, because we only have one. We only have one brain. We only have one chance to keep our brain as healthy as we can with our daily activities. I mean, each day we need to be doing everything we can and informing all of the healthy habits, doing all of the healthy things that help keep our brain as healthy as possible because of all of the stress that we're under. And there's no way that we're going to rid our lives of stress. That is for sure. Because all of us have responsibilities. All of us have families and careers and all of these things going on. So we're not going to rid our day of stress. What we can do is develop habits and learn specific habits that help our body decompress from the stress and that help our body heal from the stress. So now we talked about stress's effect on our brain. Let's talk for a second about how stress physically affects our body. Stress, chronic stress, which means what most of us are under all the time. Literally, most of us are under some type of chronic stress, whether it's from work or whether it's from physical chronic stress that we're under because we are ill or we have some kind of health condition. But we're all under some form of chronic stress. I honestly believe that most all of us are. If we are an adult and if we have responsibilities and if we have things going on in our lives that we're responsible for, there is a little bit of chronic stress happening amongst all of us. Those of us that have higher pressure careers, for example, me as a pharmacist, have a high pressure career full of responsibilities all day long, chronic stress can really get to me. So the more I learned about how it affects the brain, the more I knew that this was something we needed to be talking about all the time. This is something that we need to be focused on every single day. So we talked about how stress affects our brain. Let me talk for a second about how it affects our body. Chronic stress weakens our immune system, decreases the function of our digestive system. It increases heart disease risk. It increases blood pressure. It increases risk of diabetes. It increases risk of just about every health condition you can think of. Chronic stress can affect your body that drastically. It can affect the functioning of your organs and your systems within your body that drastically. Anything that can cause a change in your immune system and can weaken your immune system is something that we need to be worried about, something that we need to be concerned about, because we need our immune system functioning at its best, because we come into contact with so many different, throughout the day, we come into contact with so many different bacteria and germs and everything coming at us. We need our immune systems functioning at the highest capability. We need our digestive system functioning at its highest capability because we all know, like I taught last night, our gut health impacts everything happening in our body. Our digestive system and the health of our digestive system plays a role in everything that's happening within our body. It plays a role with everything that keeps us healthy and everything that keeps us unhealthy. So chronic stress and its effects on our immune system and our digestive system, and then our brain, all of those are the reasons that this topic is so interesting to me and so important and something that we need to be talking about. We're not talking about all of the stress that we're under. We're not talking about how it makes us feel. We're not talking about the pressures that we're under, and we're not talking about how drained we are and how tired we are and how just emotionally exhausted we are. But that is something we need to be talking about. We need to be sharing we need to be sharing the things that we have found that helps us decompress and that helps us relax, that helps us create strategies during the day to continually stop the excessive stress in our lives, because it's coming at us. It's going to come at us no matter what. But if we can create strategies to use during the day that helps us decrease the stress that we're feeling and experiencing, that's going to have a huge impact on how we feel and actually our health, our physical health, our emotional health, our brain's health, our immune system, our digestive system. All of the strategies that we can create and all of the habits that we can put into our day to help us decompress can have such a huge impact on everything about our lives. So now I'm going to share with you guys 3 things that I know will help decrease stress, will help you decompress, and will help you relax. And I know that these 3 things will work because I've been doing them myself for the last month. And I have seen firsthand and experienced firsthand how much these 3 habits can decrease the feelings of stress, because we all know what it feels like to feel stressed, to constantly feel in your brain stressed out or thinking about something, or feel the constant pressure of something going on in your brain. We all know what that feels like. So I have used these 3 strategies. Sorry, my phone's ringing. It'll stop in a second. Yep, it's probably my mom. But okay, so I'm going to finish. So I have used these 3 strategies over the last month to figure out how to help myself handle stress, because I have not been good at handling stress over the last couple of years. I've not. I have been pushing it away and not thinking about it and trying not to deal with it because I thought it would just eventually go away. I thought it wasn't going to affect me the way I see it affecting everybody else. And that's just not the case. If we don't handle if we don't handle and deal with the stress that we're facing every day, it's going to have impacts on our health that we're not going to think about until they actually start happening, because it's affecting our immune system. It's affecting our gut health. It's affecting our brain, and that eventually is going to catch up with us. It is going to catch up with us, and I know that for a fact because it eventually caught up with me. And I had to start creating habits, making changes in my life to find a way to deal with some of the stress that was going on. So those are the 3 tips I'm sharing with you guys today. The first tip that helps deal with stress and helps decrease stress and helps you decompress after a day is journaling. Journaling through everything that you've gone through in the day, journaling through everything that you're concerned about or worried about or things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to do and why you want to do and what excites you about what's going on. Journaling through all of those thoughts and everything going on in your mind takes the pressure out of your mind, puts it on paper, and lets you think about it, deal with it, figure out how to handle it, and move on. That's what journaling has done for me anyway. The second tip that I have for you guys is meditation. Now, when I first started thinking about meditation, I was so overwhelmed because there are so many different styles and different forms and different ways to meditate. So many drastically different ways to do meditation. So I was overwhelmed in the beginning when I realized that meditation has been scientifically shown to help our bodies deal with stress and to help our bodies relax. But once I started learning the different types of meditation and what works best for me, I've realized how much it helps decrease the stress, helps relax me, helps keep me focused, and helps keep me focused on what's most important rather than worrying about and stressing about everything else going on. That's what meditation has done. And that's what I know meditation can do for you guys once you start learning the different types of meditation and how to add meditation in your day and how to make time for it and fit it into your schedule. Because we're all busy, but these habits that I'm talking about today, we have to just make time for. We have to make time to fit them in our schedule and make them happen and schedule them during the day, just like an appointment, just like you would any kind of an appointment. Schedule some of these habits that I'm talking about today into your day so that you don't miss it, so that you don't do it, so that you don't put it off and say, oh, I'll get to it later, because you're not going to get to it later because something else is going to come up. But if it's scheduled and planned and you're aware and you know that you've got to get it done at this certain time of day because you have told yourself you deserve it, that's going to happen. Once you have it scheduled, it's going to happen. The third tip that I have for you guys, and this is something that I have just started doing within the last couple of weeks, and it has drastically changed the way I can keep myself focused on one task rather than stressing about everything